When I told my mother, Mom, when did you know I was gay? She said, from day one. I said, what? She said, everything you did was different. And it was beautiful but different. I said, why didn't you ever talk to me about it? She said, no mother wishes her child to be different. Because when they're different, the world is harsh. The world is mean. The world is terrible. You are called names. Society will call you other. She said, no mother wants to wish that. I'm Suvir Saran at KLF doing Apostrophe.
Hi, Suvir.
Hi, Vandana.
Being opening about oneself is not that easy task. In your book, you're opening up your struggles, your journey, from losing a grandfather to setting up your journey as a chef, everything. And your fight to live the way that you wanted to live, that itself is a fight. When you look back, how was that journey? Can you just narrate?
You know, I've climbed the Mount Everest of cooking. It was easy. Life hasn't been easy. To be born gay, to know at age 3 that I'm different, to know at 5 that the world would hate me if they know my secret, to know at 10 that I'm very different from everybody else, but not know words for it or have a role model that I can look up to. That's the kind of thing that breaks you even when you become everything you want to be. So, was the struggle easy? Not at all. Was it difficult? Much more than difficult. Has it been exciting and thrilling? Because I'm Suvir, I've made it exciting and thrilling. I had to have a lot of strength, courage, lot of tears, lot of heartburn, lot of suicidal moments, and be lucky enough to have parents that were so loving that every time I wanted to jump and kill myself, I remembered my parents, my sister, my brother, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles. And I said, but if I do that, their love will go. So as difficult as the world was, that love kept me going. Not every child has that good luck. And so I don't want any kid in this world to grow up thinking that they can be hated, killed, murdered, called names for being just who they are. So the world has to become a fairer place for everybody.
A supportive and loving family, as you rightly said, is the greatest blessing that you can ask for when you're in the period of a struggle, or in the period of when you are trying to prove yourself, when you are trying to live the way you want to live. But not everybody has that privilege, not even now.
You know, I didn't want to live the way I want to live. I was born this way. I didn't choose. No man is mad, no woman is mad to want to be gay. When I told my mother, Mom, when did you know I was gay? She said, from day one. I said, what? She said, everything you did was different. And it was beautiful but different. I said, why didn't you ever talk to me about it? She said, no mother wishes her child to be different. Because when they're different, the world is harsh. The world is mean. The world is terrible. You are called names. Society will call you other. She said, no mother wants to wish that upon you. So I didn't choose to be different. But yes, to have parents that accepted me was good luck. Where I was born, to what household I was born, what religion I was born into, what name I was given, what school I was sent to, what city I lived in, what country I was a national of, I didn't choose. This was given by some stroke of birth, some alignment of stars, some good luck. I could have been born to a homeless family on the street. I could have been born to the Raja of Travancore. I didn't choose it. Good luck is that I was lucky to be born to a home with food, with respect, with abundance, with love. I'm a lucky man. But not everybody born gay is lucky. They are born to terrible parents, hateful societies, terrible neighbors, bad schooling, and every day in their life is a struggle.
So your book, do you really think that book will give inspiration and confidence to many? People are still struggling here, you know that.
I'm not pompous enough to think I give answers. I raise questions. I give people a mirror. Yesterday, if I had my phone, I would want to read you something. I got a message from a reader who said, your book gave me a mirror. And your book gave me a mirror that I could look up to, see my truths, and realize tomorrow may be difficult, but it's a new day. And that is what I hope it does. That people look at it and say, we are not alone. Others have gone through bigger, smaller, other struggles, because everybody's struggle is different. Some could be there, some could be here, but wherever they are in struggle, that struggle is still struggle. For them, it's big. And I want them to know they're not alone.
Do you really think that the days of struggle are over for you, or you are still struggling to prove a point?
I don't need to prove a point, but I'm struggling. I'm struggling because decades of homophobia, decades of hate, decades of feeling uncomfortable, decades of being othered, it doesn't get whitewashed. The nightmares, the brokenness, the challenge, the trauma, the suicidal thoughts, they come non-stop. Once you have them, they don't leave you. You have to learn to not overcome them. You have to learn to file them in places where you can reach them when they need to be, but you're trying to fill other beautiful stuff above them, around them, and create more files that give you some marham, as they say in Urdu, a little healing for what's broken. You can't ever erase it. It's the art of kintsugi. So in my book, I'm writing about it, and a Japanese friend said to me, you were doing kintsugi without knowing it. I said, what? She said, you were looking at light and repairing the brokenness through good things. I said, that's what we do, don't we? So you have to always, you can never erase your past. You can build a new one. You can restore what you can. You can rebuild. You can, you can create new magic. You can't ignore, avoid, or erase what you are, where you grew up, how you were treated. But you can create new goodness by being the positive energy that can bring some more positive energy around you. It's a struggle. It's not easy.
Not at all easy. And what do you think now? Have things started to change in India?
You know, India is not what politicians, mullahs, pandits, padre want us to believe it is. We are not a box. And we are not a square box. If we are a box, we are a Pandora's box that is open. There is so much in it, and so much that's so different from each other. So the beauty of India is that being Indian, we've seen it all. Our politicians and our people of religion try to divide us by telling, ooh, that's horrible. Ooh, that should be feared. Ooh, that is wrong. Don't bend in prayer. Don't do this in prayer. Oh, hello. It's internal. But Indians, I hope, like Kerala is doing, like Tamil Nadu is doing, I hope we continue walking that way, where plurality of thought, multiplicity of ideas, where different races, religions, languages can all flourish, all find a peaceful coexistence. That India will have room for people like me. Because that India truly respects humanity. At the opening night of KLF yesterday, speaker after speaker spoke of an India that speaks in all languages, that welcomes everybody, that gives ideas to the world about coming together. If that India can be brought to everybody across India, there's no fear for people, but that is being eroded. Around the world, strong men, strong leaders, fascism, woke liberalism, and just this, we are living in two poles. There's nothing in the center. I hope we all come back to a center where we accept one another, celebrate difference, respect each other despite our differences. That India has room for me. But in India being broken apart for reasons that don't really matter is an India where gay people are to be very frightened. But I think India is changing despite all of this madness, and not fast enough. No country is. I don't think India is any worse than other places. Hate, rape, and division live across the world in different forms. The percentage is the same because humans are human. So we have to look at each other as human beings before Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikh, Jewish. We are human. The rest, as I said, is a fate. One star aligning with another gave you your religion, your name. But we are first human. So I hope Indians keep living. The National Cadet Corps of India, NCC, The anthem says, बिखरे बिखरे तारे हैं हम, लेकिन झिलमिल एक है, हम सब भारतीय हैं. That we may be scattered shining stars, but in our collective, in our communion, we are a galaxy of brilliance. That's only better because we are all different. And I think we have to live by that rule. And that India is a very welcoming place. And I hope we become more of that and less of everything else.
Okay, now coming to the chef part of your life, when you find out that you have a knack for cooking and you really love to do cooking?
When I was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 year old, the world hadn't yet hated me. I hated myself. Nobody had called me faggot, gay, nothing. I didn't know those words. I knew I was different. I would hide between the pleats of my mother's sari and I would find safety there. In covering my face, I felt safe. In hiding behind drawers, I found safety. I didn't want the world to see me because something told me I was different. So the kitchen was a safe haven. In the kitchen, every day I cooked. I learned from our Brahmin chef who cooked our food. I learned how to bake and make other foods of the world from my mother. Neighborhood aunties and grandmothers taught me. I never had friends my age. All the old women of the neighborhood taught me their dishes. So I could speak Telugu, I could speak Tamil, I could speak Urdu, Hindi, Gujarati. Our neighbors were from different parts of India. My father was a government servant. I was making pachdi and payasam and sambar and morakoi ramba and parapu charu. They were all things that Northern Indians had never heard. I was making as a young kid. Because in the kitchen, I felt welcomed, loved, and not judged, and I felt safe. So unlike a lot of chefs who go to cooking school to learn cooking, I started learning it at age 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I was doing it. So that's how my journey began in the kitchen. I went to school for art. I went to JJ School of Art in Bombay. I went to School of Visual Arts in New York. I knit, stitch, macrame, crochet, needlepoint, I sculpt. Anything two hands can do, I can do. And I became a chef by accident.
To analyze yourself, your work so far as a chef and now as a writer, how will you evaluate yourself? About your journey, about the product and everything.
I was by Restaurant Devi in New York City. My partner Hemant Mathur and I, Chef Hemant and I, created a restaurant where degustation, tasting menu of Indian cuisine was offered for the first time anywhere. We got the first Michelin star for a non-Northern European restaurant in North America. At 25, I became the youngest adjunct professor at New York University, teaching food. At 30, I started teaching at the Culinary Institute of America. I started teaching courses with the Harvard School of Public Health from age 30. So what I've done in food is, you don't always have to see it posted. I don't like noise. But generations of chefs will remember what I did because I taught people how to eat more vegetables, eat Indian food, learn about Indian cuisine, learn about health and wellness. Even before people knew they had to look at their food to understand good health, I was working with Harvard School of Public Health and the Culinary Institute of America and New York University on bringing better food to people. So that work, I don't need people to shout my name, but it was happening for 32 plus years. And that gives me joy. Writing, I've been writing since I was a kid, when kids were playing basketball, football, cricket, hockey in India. I was in the teacher's room reading them poetry, reading them prose, reading them stories I'd written. I became an editor for Vasant Parag magazine, a school magazine. And then I arrived in America and I was othered. In India, I was hated for being light-skinned and gay, and I had a lisp. In America, I looked like a idolatrous Hindu heathen. I look like a effing Islamic terrorist, and I look like a effing spick, a Hispanic farm laborer, because I didn't look white enough. So wherever I go, I've always been different. I wrote every day. I would write 15 to 20,000 words to maintain a diary, in which I just pulled out my anger, my frustrations, my own demons. I would write and file it away. So in my computer, when I die, somebody will see gazillions and billions of words that have been just written and filed away. Because that would clean me up. That how does a person who's been called all kinds of bad names smile the next morning? I would type into the night and wake up with all the anger gone ready to start a new day. So I've been writing from the earliest days.
So both cooking and writing.
And I love my columns. I write a weekly column every Sunday for Indian Express called Slice of Life. I write every Thursday a review column for Indian Express called The Aftertaste, where I review books every Thursday. I write a weekly column for Open magazine called Soft Boil, where I write 700 words on anything that matters to me. I write a monthly column for Hello magazine. I write a monthly column for Hospitality Hope magazine. Free rolling, for that I can write just anything. I write for Rob Report. I write for ANI News. So I write many columns a month. And I've written this book, which is my 5th. I've written 11 books since then, since I submitted this to the editor. So I write at least, I would say, 10 to 20,000 words a day. And I hope to, writing heals me. I can't sleep. I live with chronic and terrible illness. I live with pain, not pain of emotions, but physical pain. And in the absence of sleep, writing keeps me going. And I write more than I do anything else. I cook, I sing, I read, and I look at people and I get inspiration for another column and another line in a book.
So you are different, definitely, not because the reasons, but the way you want to express yourself, the way you want to inspire others. You are different in a very positive manner, sir.
You know, positive, negative depends on who's hearing me, but I do it for myself. My mother taught me at a young age, don't do anything you don't want to do, Baba. You won't do it well, you won't do it with happiness. Do what you love, put your heart into it. Don't worry about the result. Put your effort in it. The rest is ke sara sara, what will be, will be. So everything I do with that knowledge that I must do it with joy and happiness. If it makes somebody happy, that I'm lucky, but it at least made me happy. So every day I do what makes me happy, and that keeps me happy enough.
Will that be your advice also to the other persons around you who is struggling to come out of their boxes, to announce publicly that they are different, they are gay, they are fighting? What will be your inspiring motto for them?
You know, when we live in fear, when we are afraid to come out, when we have demons about others in our heart, you have to do what makes you happy. You have to do what makes you full. You have to do what makes you complete. You have to do what you have the courage to do. Maybe a small step, but if you can find every day a step in the right direction, feeding your soul, feeding yourself, feeding your curiosity, feeding your heart, feeding your humanity, is a day closer to you feeding yourself to fulfillment. So every day be brave, know that tomorrow is a new day, and that day after is a newer day still. If you keep worrying about those that will hate you, that will break you, that will destroy you, if they have to do that, they will. But don't do it to yourself. Find the courage, find the ability to live with that knowledge that every day do a little more to push your journey further towards self-fulfillment. And hopefully the others that are watching you and hating you, they'll see a happier human being, a stronger person, and maybe they'll shy away. Some may even change, turn around, and others may run away because they can't stop you. So keep finding strength to be you, to be newer every day, be stronger every day, and know that tomorrow is a newer day. And find people like me around you. If we are there to help you, I know a lot of us are willing to. We just need you to ask us. So be brave every day.
Thank you. Thank you so much.